The mighty Balmain sides of 1915 to 1920 won 5 premierships in 6 years, including the three-peat of 1915 to 1917. In this episode of Famous Sporting Graves, we'll track down 6 influential players from that great Balmain era. Starting out at Macquarie Park Memorial Gardens, we find the grave of legendary footballer Mr. Bill Kelly. In the world of rugby, Bill Kelly is a legend. Born in Westport, New Zealand in 1890, Kelly was a dual international for his home country of New Zealand, switching codes in 1912 at the birth of the Wellington Rugby League competition before moving to Australia for the 1914 season, joining Balmain. Kelly would captain coach the Balmain side to its undefeated premiership winning season in 1915. In that 1915 season, he would also be selected to play for New South Wales for the Interstate Series. 1925 also saw Kelly become the first of only 2 players in history to represent 2 countries in rugby league when he made his debut for his adopted country as a centre in the first test against England. Kelly's playing career was tragically cut short due to injuries sustained in war service. However, post-war, he would go on to have a long and legendary coaching career, being nicknamed the Prince of Coaches, coaching University, Newtown, South, St George, Canterbury and Balmain, taking Balmain to the 1939 premiership. While only playing in 1 year of the legendary Balmain run of 1915 to 1920, Bill Kelly deserves a mention as a legend of the club. He passed away on the 1st of July 1975 at the age of 84. Such was Bill's legendary status in the game that the Super League named the Grand Final Best and Fairest medal the Bill Kelly Medal in 1997, and the following year the ARL would name the annual Anzac Test Match Trophy the Bill Kelly Trophy in recognition of Bill's immense stature in the game of rugby league. Heading to Field of Mars Cemetery next, we find front row forward Edward Bernickle. A Balmain Rugby Union convert in 1915, Bernickle started in the lower grades of league, but by mid-season had impressed enough to debut for the first grade club in round 10 on July 17th, playing in the remaining 7 matches of the year. In September of 1915, Bernickle was mentioned in the Sydney Morning Herald as one of the code's young up-and-coming stars, along with Rickety, Johnston and Jim Craig, whom we'll meet in a bit. Ed Bernickle went on to play a total of 34 matches in first grade, 32 for Balmain and 2 matches for Western Suburbs, after having joined them in 1921 due to the residency rule after he moved to 5 Dock. Post-playing career, Ed Bernickle moved into officiating, refereeing lower grades, including the President's Cup competition. Interestingly, he also had a brief stint playing league in his later years, being mentioned in the papers lining up for the Nestle's team in something called the City Houses Cup against the Australian Gaslight Company at Moore Park, dated August 29th, 1925. Ed Bernickle passed away on the 18th of February 1931 at just 40 years of age from an accident while working on the docks of 5 Dock. Staying at Field of Mars, just south of Ed Bernickle, we find the unmarked grave of Alf Sunny Fraser. Joining Balmain in 1916 from Townsville, where he had a successful union career playing for his state on a number of occasions, Sunny Fraser was a tough forward. He debuted with North Sydney in 1915 before switching to Balmain for the 1916 season. Fraser would go on to play the remainder of his career with the Balmain side, winning 5 premierships in 1916 and 17, 1919 and 20, and finally the 1924 title. Fraser played a total of 129 first grade games for the Balmain club and retired after the 1925 season. On the representative scene, he played multiple games for Metropolis and New South Wales, however, never reached the heights of international level, with the closest thing coming in the form of a rest of the world match against the Kangaroos in 1922. Alf Sunny Fraser passed away on the 27th of December 1959 at the age of 69. From Field of Mars, we head to Rookwood General Cemetery to find the unmarked grave of one of Balmain's greatest ever players, Mr. Jim Craig. Born in 1895, Jim Craig grew up in Balmain and became a product of the local junior system. One of the most versatile players in the history of the game, He would play in almost every position on the field, and I do mean every position. He represented New South Wales, Queensland and Australia at fullback, centre, 5/8 and halfback, while also playing club football at lock forward and hooker. He played in every year of Balmain's dominance between 1915 and 1920, before switching to university in 1922 and taking Western Suburbs to its first premiership as captain coach in 1930. Craig went to Ipswich in 1923 and captained Queensland to an historic series victory over New South Wales. In 1924, he led the Maroons to wins over New South Wales and England and was chosen to captain Australia in the Ashes series. Jim Craig played a total of 51 matches for the club, as well as playing for New South Wales and Queensland Firsts, Metropolis and Australia. Nicknamed Mr. Versatile, Daily Messenger once said of Craig that he was the greatest rugby league player he ever saw. He was inducted into the NRL Hall of Fame in 2008 as inductee number 18. Jim Craig passed away on the 13th of December 1959 at the age of 64. It's so unfortunate to see so many legends of the game with unmarked graves, and one would hope that their respective clubs might one day solve this issue with an appropriate marker. Staying at Rookwood, we head down to the old mortuary section of the grounds to find the grave of Mr. Bill Chang Schulz. Earning the nickname Chang at school because he carried a picture postcard of General Chang, a Manchurian warlord and hero of the Russo-Japanese War, Bill Schulz was another product of the Balmain junior system, being drafted by the club in 1912. A talented athlete, he also played AFL for the local club with fellow Balmain great Chuck Fraser. Bill would play his entire career with Balmain, an amazing 12 seasons, winning 6 premierships along the way. Chang Schulz would also represent his state and country, playing in the winning Ashes series of 1920 and also touring with the legendary Australasian team of England in 1921-22. Schulz's final premiership match for the Balmain club was their 3-0 victory over South Sydney in the 1924 final. A solid, reliable prop forward, in his 12 seasons with the club, he would make 142 appearances. Bill Chang Schulz passed away on the 25th of February 1975 at the age of 83. And finally, our search ends at Woronora Memorial Gardens, where we find the resting place of Pony Halloway's halves partner, Mr. Albert Rickety Johnston. Born and bred in Balmain, Rickety Johnston played with Balmain from 1912 through to 1917, being a part of the famous three-peat team of 1915 to 1917. Originally a skillful halfback, Johnston moved to 5'8" with the signing of future Hall of Famer and club legend Pony Halloway in 1915. The pair proved to be one of the most lethal halves combinations in rugby league history, playing a pivotal role in guiding the team to the now legendary three-peat. Johnston would play a total of 80 matches for Balmain over 7 seasons before moving to Western Suburbs in 1918, Newtown in 1919 and 1920, and finally St George in 1921 and 22. Rickety would represent Metropolis in 1912, New South Wales in 1913 through to 1922, and Australia on 9 occasions, including partnering the legendary Duncan Thompson in the halves for the now iconic maiden home soil victory of the Kangaroos over the Lions in the Ashes series of 1920. Post-playing days, Rickety coached Newtown, Western Suburbs and St George, taking the latter to their very first premiership final in 1933, ultimately going down to Newtown. Albert Rickety Johnston passed away on the 15th of May 1961 at the age of 70. And there we have it, folks. 6 members of the legendary Balmain sides of 1915 to 1920. Are you a Balmain fan? Were you aware of the great sides of this era? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more rugby league history, and thanks for watching.